Start buying Bitcoin now. This is what a lot of people are saying. This is what the president of the United States, his son, is saying basically. Recently, actually, at the time of this recording today, he said 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be worth a fortune. Let's break that down. What is a fortune? What does that mean if 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be worth a fortune? Does this even make sense? How do we get there? And why we should start accumulating today? What is significant? Right? How much Bitcoin is significant? We'll talk about all this. If you don't mind, though, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you do want to trade crypto, there are links underneath the video. I'll leave a link to Blowfin. This is one of my favorite places to trade. This is one of the ones I've been trading on the longest. You can see we have a Bitcoin trade that I put $2,000 in. I have $2,000 of margin. We're up $20,000 on it. Okay, so trading can be risky. It can also give you really, really, really good returns. So if you want to check this out, I'll leave a link to this underneath the video. It's a way to get where you want to go faster, but of course there is some risk. We'll talk about it a little bit later though too. Pakistan creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The New York City mayor saying that he wants to issue bit bonds. We have 401k plans that now have access to Bitcoin. We have BlackRock buying 40% of $1 billion every single day. Like, this is insane. There's so many people buying Bitcoin. Of course, the price is staying a bit sideways. There are people, retail investors for the most part, that are selling, right? They can't imagine not taking profits during a cycle like this. Yet there are some new people coming in. I've heard from a couple people in the last couple weeks. They've wondered, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? What's significant? You know, what should the approach be? Does $10,000 make a difference? Does $50,000 make a difference? And same thing with other altcoins. They're approaching me about altcoins too. Okay, well, Eric Trump, very bullish on Bitcoin. This is one of Donald Trump's kids. Just spoke at the Bitcoin conference. He said 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be worth an absolute fortune. I used ChatGPT. I said, what is considered a fortune in the US? ChatGPT said that some people estimate a fortune around $1 million, right? That's probably maybe the old way of thinking. I don't think if someone heard that you're a millionaire, they would say that you have a fortune, at least in the US. So it said probably closer to like 5 million. 5 million is considered a fortune in the US. Some people would say no, it's like 50 million, 100 million. Eric Trump's saying 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be worth a fortune. Now, maybe this is a little bit too literal, but you start thinking about that. Okay, a fortune being worth 5 million. He's saying $50 million Bitcoin. Like that's kind of crazy. I know other people that think that 0.01 Bitcoin is going to be enough to retire. I know there are certain people that say that 0.01 Bitcoin is going to buy you a house in cash or in Bitcoin maybe one day, because there are 2 billion houses. There are about 21 million Bitcoin. And yeah, you just divide that out. That's 0.01 Bitcoin for every house. So there are different ways to think about it, but I think everyone would be very happy if Bitcoin even got in the millions. Not even the $50 million range, just $1 million. But that brings up the question, like how much is enough? How do we start accumulating? What should we be looking at? Is it even worth it buying 0.01 Bitcoin or 100 sats? And in the same speech with Eric Trump, they said something that I say a lot. Basically, the most important buy, the most significant buy is your first buy. It doesn't matter if you're buying $2, $200, $2,000, $2 million. The first buy is your first significant moment owning Bitcoin, because it allows you to get over the mental barrier of buying Bitcoin. It also it makes you focus on Bitcoin a lot more. Right? You can be interested in something, but if you don't have skin in the game, you're not consistently learning about it, most likely. You don't care about it as much. You're not going to pay attention. You're not going to accumulate more unless you've already bought some, right? Like you can't accumulate more Bitcoin unless you start buying. So no matter what you have, if you have $100 to your name or $1 million, unless you're significantly in high interest rate debt, or you can reinvest in yourself and get a much higher return. If you're someone that's looking to accumulate wealth, go try to buy some Bitcoin. When I talk to people, I say maybe put 1% of your net worth in it to start. It'll get you some skin in the game. Let's say you make some horrible decision. You lose it. Okay, you lost 1% of your net worth. It's not going to set you back. And it doesn't even have to be Bitcoin going down to zero. It could just be, you send all your Bitcoin to the wrong address or something like that. Now there's much easier ways. You have the Bitcoin ETFs, but start with 1%. Whether that's $1 million, $5 million, $20, whatever it is. Like start with that, and then dollar cost average over time. Now, if you want to get to 0.1 Bitcoin, right? You want to get up to Eric Trump's 0.1 Bitcoin. That's worth $10,000 right now, almost $11,000. At today's prices, if you accumulated $1,000 of Bitcoin a month, you would be able to get to this 0.1 Bitcoin in about a year. Based on today's prices. Of course, if the price goes up, you're going to have to pay more. But if you had $1,000 a month, most likely you'll be able to accumulate 0.1 Bitcoin at some point if you continue to buy Bitcoin. I think that's a great goal for a lot of people. $11,000 in an asset like this is very difficult for most people, right? Most people don't have $2,000 to be able to go throw at an asset. Most people don't buy, don't buy stocks, don't buy real estate, don't buy Bitcoin. Starting here, I think, is a great starting point, like I said, and then you can accumulate from there. 0.25 Bitcoin is going to be impossible for the average millionaire, or for every millionaire to ever buy, right? There's not going to be enough Bitcoin for that. And with all these entities that are buying Bitcoin, the price can skyrocket very quickly. We talk about a 50% gain in Bitcoin as the average return. There is a timeline, there's a possibility, a future where Bitcoin could go up much more than that. Because we haven't had true scarcity. There's always been sats flowing around. There's always been Bitcoin that's people have been willing to trade. And I think the major reason for that is because there's still some element of risk, right? Not just price risk, but like that something could happen with Bitcoin. Either quantum computing, government bans, or something like that. Like there are some people that are just worried about that. Or there's not really access to your Bitcoin. You can't get loans against it. There's not a lot of financial products around it. So people think like, okay, I got a 5x return. I should sell. I should sell and reinvest into something else. But as it becomes more institutionalized, it becomes safer to hold for a long time in a lot of people's minds. I'm not saying that that's the case. Some people would argue the opposite. But, someone that owns a lot of real estate, they're not selling off their duplex because it went up in value by 50% last year. Like maybe, probably not last year, not in 1 year. They might sell it off. But like if it gets an above average return, they're probably just going to hold on to it. Because like what are they going to reinvest that in? I've talked to so many real estate investors like that. Like unless the value just gets absurd, right? Like you just hold on to your assets. You can take loans against them. You have cash flow. You'll be able to do that in the future with Bitcoin. So why sell your Bitcoin, pay a big tax bill when there's nothing better to invest in? If this continues to get more institutionalized, more and more countries buy it and accumulate it, more and more companies, there's just not a reason to sell it. So there is a chance that the sats flow just goes down very significantly. There will be a time too where they don't mine 1 Bitcoin a day. There's less than a Bitcoin being mined every day. So the new supply is going up by 1 Bitcoin in a day. I've met people today that have told me that they hold tens and tens of Bitcoin, probably 100 plus Bitcoin. And yeah, the fact is the supply is going to go down significantly. The new supply is going to go down significantly. At that point, people will be losing more Bitcoin, like just forever. The supply will be going down essentially. And you're going to tell me that the price isn't going to go up exponentially with sovereign wealth funds, with countries buying. We're going to have $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 days. It's going to happen. That sounds crazy. We're going to have a $50,000 day in our lifetime. Probably in the next decade, we're going to have a $50,000 day. If Trump somehow was able to get the U.S. to acquire more Bitcoin and set a plan up and actually start acquiring it, if we can see it, who knows? That 5-figure day, mid 5-figure day could come. Shorts getting liquidated all over the place, significant levels of Bitcoin accumulation from all the companies, ETFs. Like, there's a chance we could see a 9-figure day? More than that. We could see $10 billion bought up by BlackRock in a week, maybe in a day, depending on what happens over the next year or two. It sounds crazy, but it's very real. I mean, Bitcoin is like approaching all-time highs. I guess we slightly beat out, but there's no FOMO right now from retail investors. There's not that same level of FOMO that we've seen in the past. And BlackRock almost did $1 billion in a day just a couple weeks ago, or last week. Like, we can see $5 billion, $10 billion days. It's possible. I don't think even like institutional investors are FOMOing in. The price would skyrocket up. So yes, there are going to be massive moves in the future. My advice for anyone that's interested, and you probably are interested if you're listening to this, is to just accumulate enough that you feel comfortable, but not so much that you can't sleep at night, or that will materially affect your well-being if it falls down 30, 40, 50%. Right? I feel very comfortable when Bitcoin falls down 30%. I'm not stressed. I get a little bit more excited when we see dips in the market, whether it's stocks, real estate, crypto, and that's how I want everyone to act, honestly. That, of course, not everyone can act that way. The reason we see big dips is because people panic, right? And there's always bad news that comes with the dips, right? That's why we see dips. But yeah, hopefully you know that things have never been better for Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. If you do want to trade, there are links underneath the video to Blowfin. Like I said, you can make a significant amount of money here. It's not right for everyone. You have to know there are risks, but you can acquire more Bitcoin if you do this in a safe way without being too greedy. Like 7x leverage. I opened this when we were down 20% from 35% from all-time highs at the time, and I just let it ride. Right? And of course, you can trade more aggressively too. Sometimes I open up higher leverage positions, but yeah, you can check this out underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.